Commander Rick Farfan here this morning? Yes, the commander's here. Good morning. We have the Bureau Chief, Braden Phillips, is here. Good morning. We have our City Prosecutor, Doug Albert, is here this morning. And then we have representatives from all kinds of VIP's offices. Helene Ansell has been a long-time supporter of End Abuse Long Beach. She's here from Congressman Alan Lowenthal's office. We have Marisol Barajas is here from our brand new Assembly member, Patrick O'Donnell's office. Tim Patton, where are you? From the Mayor's office. Thank you for being here. And then from Lena Gonzalez's Council Member 1st District, Abigail Mejia is here. Thank you. Council Member Rex Richardson's office, Field Deputy Marina Escobedo, and Council Member Stacey Mungo, the 5th District, Amanda Staten. There you are. Good morning. And Virginia Zort is here from the Long Beach Human Trafficking Task Force. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Every year we ask our board members, the End Abuse Long Beach board members, host this breakfast for you and decorate the table. So I'd like to just honor and acknowledge Mary Van Valkenburg and Tiambe. Preston, where are you? They did all the beautiful decorations. And then if all the board members could please stand. These are the people who organize all your speakers throughout the year, bring the goodies for the breakfast, organize all the brochures, the flyers, the education materials. We support programs in the Long Beach area. Please join me in thanking the board members for all their work during the year and for the breakfast they provided this morning. We also have a couple of departing board members, two of whom couldn't be here this morning, Derek Perez Johnson from the Department of Children and Family Services and Yolanda Green from Cal State Long Beach, and we sincerely thank them for their work on the board this year. We also have one other board member leaving this year, and I am retiring as president of End Abuse Long Beach. So I wanted to introduce to you the new president. Is going to be Kim Crawford Wee with the red scarf here. She's been our treasurer for a number of years. She knows our finances way better than I do, so that's a good thing. Let me just introduce Kim to you.
Thank you, Paula. Actually, I'm going to ask Erica to come up here because we can't just let Paula say, I'm leaving and wave goodbye. I mean, it's been 20 years, so I have to have a little bit of hoopla to go with that departing. And I have big shoes to fill. I'm already nervous watching Paula up here. So I want to introduce Erica, though, who has been instrumental in helping with the few little surprises today for Paula and making sure that we give her a warm goodbye and not, hopefully not goodbye, but warm send-off.
I've known Paula for 11 years now, since I started coming to End Abuse, and I was telling somebody earlier that I really attribute everything I know about Long Beach and all of my connections to this group, and it's really going to be difficult to imagine End Abuse not under her leadership. I'm not familiar with all the things that she has done, but so many of us know her as a leader in this field in Long Beach. She runs a domestic violence legal clinic at the courthouse. She was also chair for a long time of the Long Beach Women's Advisory Council, where I also worked with her. And we're going to miss her so much, so we wanted to do a little surprise. So some of her friends and family are here. This is an award in the same sense that you guys are getting it, but we did want to do some recognition. I wonder if Tim wanted to come and read his certificate. Oh, and Helene has one as well.
On behalf of Mayor Garcia, this is for Paula, for your years of dedicated service as the chair of the End Abuse Long Beach and for your contributions to the residents of Long Beach. Your determination in being an advocate and promoter of philanthropy and benevolence in our community is truly admirable. Thank you for your service to the city of Long Beach.
Hi Paula, thank you for all your service. It's very appreciated up in our district, and we want to congratulate you for all your hard work.
Thank you. On behalf of the Councilwoman Lena Gonzalez from the 1st District, we want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication. So, thank you.
On behalf of Congressman Lowenthal, in appreciation of your compassionate efforts to support survivors of family violence, your steadfast commitment to preventing abuse in our community, and for your dedicated leadership of End Abuse Long Beach for over 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
On behalf of the City Prosecutor's Office, and I have two members of my office with me, Alana Miller and Alicia Rodriguez, I want to thank you for all you've done. You've been the face of End Abuse Long Beach for the time that I've been the City Prosecutor. And as an attorney, your time is very valuable. I want people to understand and recognize that. By giving of your time, you're giving of your most valuable thing. There are attorneys, as we all know, who charge by the hour large amounts of money. You're worth twice what they are. We could never repay you for all of your time, but I wanted to recognize that from as one attorney to another, all of the special things you do for our community. And Long Beach is a great community because of its people and because of its leaders, and you're one of those. So thank you so much, and I have a Long Beach City Prosecutor commendation to give you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and thank you. I want to introduce, we didn't do introductions around the table, but let me just introduce my family members and friends who are here this morning. Tiki, you want to stand up? All of you knew Tiki when I was pregnant with her. and before, she's 12 and she's missing school this morning to be here, which is a total surprise to me. I said goodbye to her this morning, made her lunch. So that's Tiki. My husband is standing in the back corner, green shirt, that's Ronan. Jeff Rips is a longtime friend. He's also the AJCC director and accommodates our meetings here and all the parking issues we create for him. Jeff, give a wave so everybody knows who you are. Thank you to Jeff Rips. And actually, we do have thank yous for the JCC staff too. So I gave Houston his, but we'll go find them afterwards. Thank you. My in-laws are here. Barbara Cohen was a member of the Long Beach Child Trauma Council long before I was. Barbara, if you'd like to wave. She's the retired director of field social work at Cal State Long Beach. My father-in-law is here sitting next to her, Dr. Manley Cohen. Also had no idea he was going to be here this morning. And then some of my friends showed up. Tanya standing in the back room. Good morning, Tanya. And my friends Liz and Chayalea showed up. And my rabbi is here. He's very important to me and my life. And he suddenly showed up to the meeting. I said, Rabbi, don't you have a funeral to go to or something? But he's here. Rabbi Perlmutter is the only rabbi really you need to know in Long Beach. And my colleague, Mercedes Alanis, is here. She's a longtime member of the End Abuse and Prior Councils. And all of you, really, I consider my friends and my colleagues. I actually said at the board meeting when I shocked them with the news, I said it sounds twee, but it really is true that this organization has given me so much more than I've given it. And I really consider all of you here at End Abuse Long Beach to be absolutely my colleagues and my professionals and the people I turn to when I have questions about clients and cases or personal things. Or where's Sandra? How to tie a scarf. Thank you, Sandra. So really, End Abuse really means a lot to me. I'm hoping I'm still going to be able to come to the meetings, and I'm leaving you in fabulous hands with Kim. Janine is here. She's our vice president. Where are you, Janine? There she is. Janine's your vice president. Paul is here behind the camera. He's your program director. He does way more work than anybody you actually see standing up here. And then Lorena, where's Lorena? Our new treasurer in the back, Lorena, so you'll be paying your checks to her. Speaking of which, our membership is just $30 a year. It's voluntary because meetings are always free. But if you pay today, you get a little handy shopping bag that says End Abuse Long Beach on it. So, okay. Yeah. All the Cuddly Bears go to the CART team, which is the Child Abuse Response Team. They are volunteers who work with For the Child, and they go out in the middle of the night whenever there are calls relating to child abuse, domestic violence or sexual assault when children are involved. We donate the bears to the CART team every year, so those will be going there. Thank you. Please join me in welcoming Bureau Chief Braden Phillips.
Thank you, Paula, and congratulations, and thank you for everything you've done for End Abuse Long Beach. And also thank you guys for the Bears. I'm a board member of For the Child and have been for about 7 or 8 years. We really appreciate what this group does and what it means to Long Beach. And one other thing, if I could do one administrative thing before I start my remarks. Susie Price would be very upset if Julie Malicki wasn't acknowledged here this morning from Susie's office, so thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of, I'm putting myself on behalf of Sheriff Jim McDonnell and Chief Robert Luna from the Long Beach Police Department. And I want to talk a little bit about this group that you're going to recognize this morning. Most of you know that a year ago, Sheriff McDonald, when he was our chief, was selected by Attorney General Eric Holder to be a part of a national task force that went around the country and looked at abusive situations in a variety of scenarios. One of the things that he came back with and spoke to his executive team at length about was an area that he really didn't have much appreciation for before the task force, and it was human trafficking. And he made a commitment and wanted us to make a commitment to start a process to fight and end human trafficking and the abuse that results from that horrible crime. He didn't tell us how to do it, he just said, I want it done. And the guys that are in this room, the Investigations Bureau the Investigations Bureau Chief is Dave Hendricks, who couldn't be here this morning. Rick Farfan leads this group as the commander of the Investigations Bureau Division. And Eric Hooker and the rest of the team rolled their sleeves up and figured out with whom to collaborate, the tactics to use, and basically mapped a new territory. It was an area that we really didn't have much experience in. And what they have done in a relatively short period of time is established themselves and the partners with whom they work as the preeminent human trafficking or counter-human trafficking group in LA County. And there's some big agencies, Sheriff McDonald's agency is one, that are competing with us for that title. The County Board of Supervisors just this past week recognized this team for its efforts. And I really want to thank you for acknowledging them. They're doing some amazing work. We're awfully proud of them, and we're very glad that you recognize their efforts. So thank you for that. I hate to speak and run, but I've got a 9 o'clock meeting back at the headquarters, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
You take care.
And you and I have worked together a long time.
We have.
Thank you so much for being here. So with that, we're going to show, it's just a very brief video just so you can see the kind of programming and the kind of speakers we've had this year.
Over 94% of the kids who enter into Safe Families hostings go back to their families of origin. When I was at the Department of Children and Family Services, less than 50% of the children who came into the child welfare system were able to be returned to their families.
These programs focus on working with kids from at-risk communities, partnering them up with shelter dogs, and really trying to instill that level of empathy that a lot of our students are missing. And they're not missing it, if they just haven't had the opportunity to practice it. And a lot of them have been involved in domestic violence in their home, child abuse, etc., etc.
Do you know what he did to me? I said, well, tell me what you're thinking about. And she said, he did the thing to me that you do to make babies. She was furious, absolutely furious. Before that, she was very asymptomatic. She was not particularly distressed by what had gone on. But when she got enough information, cognitively, developmentally, to figure out, that's what this is that he's doing. That's when the level of awareness clicked in that made her feel she had been treated inappropriately.
number one thing that our program does, we educate, but we really give people hope. Because as you know, DCFS is a pretty scary organization for people. And they often don't believe that they can get their kids back.
So what I do is I recruit, train, and supervise volunteers that help us provide their art activities at the Children's Courthouse.
We need to look at the spectrum of violence from childhood all the way into adulthood, because a child who's abused early in life then goes on to exhibit those behaviors as adults. So I've really gotten my management team to buy into looking at what's happening in the home and the family, looking at what's happening on our school campuses, and looking at out to the community.
As far as the brain is concerned, physical pain and intense social rejection hurt in the same way. The brain does not distinguish between that.
I am proposing that the interaction and relationship that's established with an animal can become that corrective emotional experience, providing these kids with an opportunity to re-experience an attachment relationship differently, without judgment, without fear, without shame.
So many of the cases we get, the woman might have been in a shelter and now is out of the shelter, has separated from, say, the husband, and has actually filed for divorce, or he's filed for divorce before she did. That's the types of cases we're going to talk about today.
But a 14-year-old girl who has been on the streets since she was 11, and you know, her home had addiction in it, or she experienced domestic violence. She'd been in and out of the system, run away from foster care, and now we've come upon her at 14 years old. This is a different experience and a different need than the 16-year-old who has a two-parent family who got on the internet, met a boyfriend who's 30 in Texas and went off to meet him, and he turned around and put her out on the street. These are two different service provision needs. Not to mention the differences between a foreign national.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having us here. As Bureau Chief Braden Phillips said, when now Sheriff and former Chief McDonald told us he wanted us to combat human trafficking, and it was put on my shoulders, and it's like, well, where do you go from here? And we knew we needed funding, and I think our Long Beach City Council needs a big applause, because we told them we can't do this without funding, and they allocated $650,000, and the operation ran from February through September of this year, and it was widely successful. I'll let Lieutenant Pratt give you the statistics. But without the support from our city leaders, we wouldn't be here today. So I think our city council and our city leaders really deserve an applause for that. And right over here to my left, our city prosecutor. He's passionate about this. He believes in us, and he gives whatever we need. He's there, and he supports us. So, Mr. Halbert, thank you very much. But when we were given this monumental task on what do we do with human trafficking, how do we start, I'm really fortunate. I have Lieutenant Dan Pratt on my side here, and I said, what are we going to do? And his leadership that led Sergeant Hooker and the rest of his team, what an amazing year. And you know what? It's not going to stop. Human trafficking, the investigation, combating will never go away, unfortunately. But we'll do our part. We will do our part to end abuse in Long Beach. And with that, I'll let Lieutenant Pratt say a few words.
The Vice Detail has been around a long time, so people get confused when they start to associate human trafficking with the Long Beach PD Vice Detail. They didn't just start 2 years ago. They've been around a long time, and they have numerous responsibilities, the majority of which are directed toward human trafficking now, but they also have responsibilities with alcohol beverage control places such as bars and liquor stores that sell alcohol. They have issues with lewd conduct in restrooms. There's quite a few things they do, but the majority of their efforts have been concentrated on human trafficking lately. And what I am really amazed at the most important thing I really want to point out with this team is the passion. I've supervised quite a few teams, and as a leader, you end up having to do some things you read in books or taught in classes on how to motivate a team. I don't have any issues with motivation in that team. If anything, in fact, I don't have any issues with the team at all. Normally with a team like that, you have to reel them back in. Hey, you're starting to go outside the boundaries, but we really want to get this guy. Eric Hooker's leadership, he's such a sharp guy. He came from internal affairs, so he knows the rules, which really is helpful because this team, as passionate as they are, I'm not going to say they'll break the rules, but they want to. And what I mean by that is in a good way. I don't mean that they're going to go break the law. We have rules in place such as leaving the city. You have to leave the city to start an investigation. You have to have supervisor approval. Oftentimes, it's not as easy as it sounds. So this team is the type of team that will know they've gone to one residence and they've saved a girl and they found some evidence inside of a room that leads them to another city. They'll just go. And then, oh, wait, hold on, we got to call the sergeant. Or the sergeant's already with them and they got to call the lieutenant. And they're thinking, but we don't have time for this. We have to go. If we don't go now, the guy's going to leave. That's where the leadership comes in. They'll drive quickly there and calling me in the meantime. Just making sure that their butts are covered, so to speak, because they want to go and they want to rescue another girl or arrest a pimp. And they want to make sure that they have the approval to do so. It's rare for a supervisor to have that type of team that I honestly don't worry about them. I spend more time writing them up in a good way. Well, I've never written them up for anything bad. So all I do is spend my time giving them accolades. That's really, really rare for a supervisor to have that ability to do so. So I want to give you a few things that they've done. Eric, the sergeant, I'm going to use his name a lot because quite honestly, he's the boots on the ground. I just get all the credit, he does all the work. His idea of training the whole department was a great idea. When we got $650,000 for a 5-man team at the time, I had to go to my commander and say, how do we spend $650,000? I mean, these are great ideas, great that we have the money, but what do I do with it? 5 guys can't spend $650,000 in overtime. They're already getting the regular pay. What am I supposed to do with the rest of this time? They can't work 24 hours a day. So the commander gave us the idea to use a force multiplier and train all of our department detectives in human trafficking. What a great concept, what a great idea that ended up being. Sergeant Hooker and his team put together a training day, and they trained people who are experts in investigations, such as the homicide detail, narcotics detail, sex crimes, juvenile youth services. These are people that are experts in what they do. Now that they understand the human trafficking aspect of it, we can go out and do these large operations. So now we get someone who, say for instance, we're trying to track down a pimp. We have a girl who tells us this is his name. All I know is his gang name. We give that to a gang investigator. The gang investigator pulls up everything he can do to find this guy. If he's in the system, so now we have him. Now we give that information to a homicide detective. I won't give you too many details on that, but how we end up tracking them down. So we get to a point where we're able to track someone down through this force multiplier, not just the 5 guys that we started with. And that's what led us to some of the numbers we were able to produce this year. 28 juvenile victims are rescued. 26 suspects are in custody. We've referred to services, it's on my other paper, 56 girls to services. And the way kind of the operations work, just to give you a quick overview, when we do an operation such as a sting, so we find a girl on the internet that's advertising for sexual services, we solicit her, we bring her to a room, we have her meet us at a room. She gives what is we consider as breaking the law. She agrees to a sexual act for money. Once we make that determination that she's done what we need to do to arrest her, we detain her at that point. We bring her into another room and we start to debrief her. We try to find out what information she's willing to give us. Not every girl is cooperative, but what we discovered as we start to treat every girl as a victim, some of them will actually start to talk to us. Quite honestly, several years ago, Vice didn't do that. The Vice of old, their goal was to clear the street of prostitutes working a corner. So someone would call and they would say, you have girls working at this intersection. We would go and we would take the girls out the street. The more girls you got out the street in one weekend, the better you did. And we really didn't look into what their past was, why they were there, what's determining this factor. And once we started treating them like victims, which was literally Sergeant Eric Hooker's foresight to do so. He had heard about a little bit about it and started investigating. What did they mean by this? What do they do? And once he discovered how they do it, he taught his team. Then they taught the team taught patrol how to do these type of things. So our force multiplier began there. So the victims began starting to tell us things that we never got from victims before. We treated them like prostitutes. That's what we went across. That's what we were taught to do in the academy. That's how the girls treated us as well. When we talked to them, they kicked, they screamed, they spit at us. They didn't want to talk to us. Once we started treating them like victims and putting them in rooms instead of interrogation rooms, but we call them soft rooms. You put them on a couch like you would interview a rape victim or a victim of child abuse, and you ask them questions and you treat them like human beings, and you start asking them, what got you here? You know, what can we do for you? And little simple things. I love the story. A little simple thing like buying a girl a Happy Meal. She can be 23 years old. You take her through the drive-thru at McDonald's and you look back and you say, you want anything? The same girl who was kicking and screaming 5 minutes ago changes her whole attitude. Someone's going to buy me something that they're not required to do so. So a Happy Meal turns a girl's attitude totally different than what she was 5 minutes ago. So that little tactics, little things they've learned, such as that, the stuffed animal in the soft room. Another great story. They were taught by another detective from another agency, if you put a stuffed animal in the room, when you walk in, her reaction to the stuffed animal will give you an idea of how she's going to cooperate. If she rips the head off of it, probably not going to be very productive. But more than likely, she's going to cuddle it, snuggle it, and hold on to it. That gives you an idea where she is, and you probably have a good chance of getting what you want out of her now. And what I mean by that is, we sound like mean guys sometimes when we say we want to get what we want out of her. Well, we want to arrest that guy. We want to get her services, but we're cops. What we want to do is make this stop. So it sounds horrible sometimes, the things that we want the girls to talk about, or not necessarily the tactics we use, but how we go about it. We put them in a room and we talk to them. These poor girls have been victimized. That was a learning curve for us. Once we learned that they are victims and we need to treat them as such, we really became much more productive. And these detectives, it's kind of funny to say, but other detectives realize it's not as easy as it sounds. Well, I've interviewed numerous homicide victims, that wouldn't be possible. Homicide witnesses, homicide suspects, victims of sexual assault. When they go to a human trafficking victim, it's an entirely different animal, an entirely different thing. And these guys are experts. They've realized the tactics they need and the tactics they have to use to get a girl who has been trafficked for 8 years and doesn't trust anyone. She's been brainwashed to think that all law enforcement is evil, and all they want you to do is tell them what's going on about me, put me in jail, and you're on the street on your own now. And they brainwash these girls to think these things, and they won't talk to us until this team gets a hold of them. So that's what I think is really amazing. So some of the things they've done, we started training, and we trained all of our Long Beach Police Department. We trained the fire department, the Long Beach Unified School District Board. Myself and Eric both taught numerous PTA meetings, a ton of community meetings, Long Beach Memorial Hospital, hotline personnel. Eric actually taught at the ABC conference. ABC is Alcohol Beverage Control. They asked for him as an expert in the field to teach other law enforcement from all over the state. And then he and I both, we received numerous phone calls on a daily basis, I should say weekly basis, from other agencies. I get a call from Oregon now from every other week, from a guy that's in charge of a nonprofit organization there asking us, what are we doing now? Or, hey, I saw this article, how did that come about? And they want to learn, so then he shares with his law enforcement agencies how we came about doing our business. For as small as we are, we're a large agency, but we're not the largest agency in LA County by far, yet we've arrested more human trafficking suspects in the last 2 years than anybody else in LA County. And they've won so many different awards. They were the County Investigators of the Year. They were the Peace Officers Association of Los Angeles County for Excellence in Investigations. They received that award. They received a unit citation from the Long Beach Police Department. One of the employees, Lori Barajas, was Employee of the Year. They recently were recognized, as Chief Braden said, for the Chairman's Challenge Award for their work in the LA County Commercially Sexually Exploited Children, or CSEC, First Responder Protocol. They were recognized for their work in that. That was mainly, the whole team did the work, but Eric got the recognition. Much like I write their awards and I get the recognition, even though they're the ones who did all the work. It's kind of strange. But since they're an undercover team and they can't be on camera to have pictures taken, every time they get these huge awards, I'm the one who gets them. So it kind of seems really odd that I write the awards and I get all the accolades. It's very strange. But they do all the work. And finally, we put together a human trafficking brochure that Long Beach PD now puts out. It's come so far. It was a team that eradicated prostitution, if you will, and now it's a human trafficking team. And we're so proud of what they do and the victims they've saved off the street. And I want to give you one case study. Wynn and Avery. This case started in Hawthorne Police Department when two victims who were trapped in a car. They were put into a car by their pimps. They went to a mall in Hawthorne, went inside, the pimps left them in the car and went inside. One of the girls unlocked the doors, got themselves rescued, and they went to Hawthorne PD. I'm making this in a nutshell, that's why I'm stuttering a bit. This is a very long case. We don't have that kind of time. When we found out what was going on, they called the human trafficking team. They started the investigation. Those girls told us of the horrific, and I won't use the kind of things they went through in this room because it's really not appropriate, but the things they went through were absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. The guys were able to debrief them, find out more about the suspects. They were able to arrest the two suspects. One of them got 46 years to life, and the other one 33 years in prison. 3 years ago, that would have been very difficult to accomplish. For one thing, we didn't have the experience in doing such. Secondly, we would not have probably dug in as far as we were going to do. I'm not saying we would have treated them as prostitutes. We definitely would not have gone to the detail that we know and understand what to do now. So, on behalf of the Long Beach Police Department and End Abuse Long Beach, I'd like to recognize the Long Beach Police Department Vice Detail.
Thank you, Lieutenant Pratt, Commander Farfan, Sergeant Hooker, and the whole team. We have a whole lot of certificates for you on the table here. So I'm going to call up Helene Ansell from Congressman Alan Lowenthal's office. And I think, Lieutenant Pratt, we're going to have you receive the certificates, so we'll keep the camera over here.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. Amazing, really. I know you've gotten a lot of awards, but really to be commended for your commitment to the work that you do is just incredible, and the lives that you change and make a difference in. Thank you for all the work you do. It's really, I'm overwhelmed.
Thank you.
And on behalf of Congressman Lowenthal, in honor of being recognized by End Abuse Long Beach for your work in assisting victims, by providing the services they need and filing more human trafficking cases than any other agency in LA County. Thank you.
Marisol Barafas is here from Assemblymember Patrick O'Donnell's office.
Like Helene said, it's very emotional to even hear and see the faces of the people who are on the streets working and combating human trafficking, so thank you so much. On behalf of Assemblymember Patrick O'Donnell, in grateful appreciation of your outstanding leadership and commitment to ending human trafficking and adopting a victim-centered approach. Your passion and resourcefulness is to be commended, which it is today. Thank you so much, everybody.
And then Doug Halbert is here in person, our city prosecutor.
Well, it's a pleasure to work with these guys every day. And they did give you a very quick synopsis of that story, but there's one fact I wanted to add to that. The treatment and the service provided the victims in that case is ongoing. One of the things Lieutenant Pratt did not mention is that one of the victims had the name of her pimp tattooed on her forehead above her eye. They continued to work with her and get her treatment. They drove her personally to Homeboys Industries to get that tattoo removed, to remove that reminder of the horror that she went through all that time. This is something that is far above and beyond what police officers are normally called on to do. And it wasn't that the city asked them to do this was their idea. So on behalf of the city prosecutor's office, I want to thank the Vice Detail for all that you do. You do it in the middle of the day, you do it in the middle of the night. Your families sacrifice a lot, I know you sacrifice a lot, to be as dedicated and commitment to what you do for the people of Long Beach. So on behalf of the City Prosecutor's Office, here's a commendation to add to all the others that you're receiving today in recognition of your efforts and sacrifice to help investigate, document, and prosecute human trafficking in our region. You are a leader. Thank you so much for that leadership. Thank you.
And then Tim Patton is here from the Mayor's office, from Mayor Robert Garcia's office.
On behalf of Mayor Garcia, there's commendations here for all of you, but just want to express his sincere appreciation for all of the work that you all do for the Vice Detail. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Lena Gonzalez, the 1st District, Abigail Mejia, if you would like to come up. For Council Member Stacey Mungo's office, 5th District, Amanda Staten. For Council Member Susie Price, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on your name. Julie. Okay, I need to know you. You're my council member. Member's office. Julie, I'm so sorry. And for Council Member Rex Richardson's office, the 9th District, Marina Escobedo is here.
Thank you all for what you do. It's amazing to see the dedication that you guys put in and day out. The councilwoman would like to thank you for all your hard work and for making the city of Long Beach a safer place. And I have certificates for all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know, as Councilwoman Susie Price, she's a deputy district attorney, so this is something she's very passionate about. She thanks you for your hard work, and she knows the hours of dedication that you put into it to make the community a safer place, and we're very thankful for that.
Thank you.
Good morning, Marina Escobedo with the 9th District. We actually represent North Long Beach. This is an area that's deeply impacted by human trafficking, and I know a lot of times when we read the success stories in the papers, you don't always get to put a face to all the people who do the hard work, so a sincere thank you. I also want to say that on behalf of the residents, a lot of times we hear the complaints and it's frustrating, especially from our end, to sometimes not be able to have an immediate response or solution, but all of the work is greatly appreciated. Sincerely, a certificate is not enough gratitude for all the hard work that you guys do, but your hard work is appreciated, and we only brought one certificate, but and it's actually for Sergeant Hooker, but all of you are greatly appreciated. Please keep up the hard work, and a million thank yous.
Thank you.
On behalf of Stacey Mungo's office, thank you so much for everything you do, and this has just been entirely empowering and really positive, so thank you guys all so much for everything.
So we actually have a parallel council in Long Beach, not just NW's Long Beach, but the Long Beach Trafficking Task Force is headed by one of our members, Virginia Zorot, and she's doing just an amazing job with the Trafficking Task Force. So Virginia, if you would like to come up.
We are very honored with the task force here in Long Beach to work with the police department, and are just so amazed by the work that they do, the collaboration amongst the different partners within the task force, and it's so great to be here and see all of you together. I get to see some of you here and there, and some of you not really at all, but it is so nice to see you here. And on behalf of the task force, we have a recognition here for your exceptional work and dedicated service in the fight against human trafficking, and as a valuable partner with the task force. We really appreciate it, so thank you.
Sergeant Hooker, would you like to say a few words?
Yes.
We promise we'll switch the camera off.
Yeah. I want to take a minute to say thank you, on behalf of the entire team for the award. They had mentioned it earlier, it's rare that we're able to get out and actually give some accolades to the team, and you're hearing my name a lot, and trust me, these are the guys and gals that are doing the hard work out there. It's easy for us to stand up and, like you said, take the accolades, but these are the boots on the ground. These are the people that are there until last night, 2 in the morning, helping a victim get into services that you need. So from all of us, we really appreciate the recognition. There's been a lot of thank yous today, and it really is warming for us to hear that it's appreciated, because there is a lot of hard work that's put in by these team guys, so they definitely deserve a round of applause. I wanted to introduce him by name. This is Detective Ed De La Torre, Detective Kevin Allen, Sergeant Blake Eldridge, Detective Lori Barajas, Detective Juan Gomez, and Detective Toby Binskin. You can see they're kind of a ratty looking crowd, which is why they're not taken out in public as often as they'd like to. I also want to hit on one other point that's been mentioned several times, and I wanted to thank several of the people in here. I'm not going to go through by name, but the collaboration between agencies is something that I've learned when I started doing this job, which is huge. And I spoke on it last week actually with our new chief. We sat down and had lunch, and I said, of the 20 years I've been with the police department, starting to do this job, I've realized how important it is to make these partnerships with the communities and the organizations, and how important it is with the city prosecutor's office, with the human trafficking task force, and there are several people's faces in here that I recognize from different meetings that I've gone to. And although we're getting these awards, we know a majority of the work on the back end is being done by you guys. So definitely you deserve a round of applause as well, and thank you for the work that you guys are doing.
I would be amiss if I didn't actually present you with our award, which says End Abuse Long Beach Child Abuse and Domestic Violence Prevention Council presents Sergeant Eric Hooker and the Long Beach Police Department Vice Investigations Team with its annual Abuse Prevention Award in recognition of their extraordinary dedication and exemplary success in combating human trafficking in the city of Long Beach, December 11th, 2014. Thank you all so much. So I would like to remind everybody that membership is now open for 2015. Our meetings are always free, but that doesn't mean it doesn't cost anything to host the meetings. So we pay for the meeting space. Sometimes we have to pay for speakers' travel. We provide breakfast at every meeting. So membership for the year is $30. Okay, thank you for being here. Please have breakfast. Thank you all for the work that you do. We look forward to seeing you in 2015.